I want to ask you, because you talk about it in the book, how to overcome self-loathing, right? And so it's like, before we can do the work on what these tools are, it's one thing for us to name the thing that we are ashamed of, but it feels like a really big leap to make room for ourselves and love. Like when you say in the book, overcome self-loathing and feel good about who you are, it's like, well, I can name it. That would take a lot of courage, but I could say it out loud. But then for you to tell me that I have to find a way to overcome how much I hate that about myself is really hard. And I remember when I was first taking mindfulness classes at UCLA, and my teacher used to say that every single day we should have tea and invite all the parts of ourselves to join us, the parts that are brave and the parts that self-sabotage, the parts that are liars and the parts of us that are really unbelievably courageous and strong and compassionate and everything in between. And there's, again, everything's a hologram. So to the extent that you will judge yourself and not like parts of yourself, right, you're going to do that with other people. So that gets put in the water of this whole ocean. And we don't want to do that. We want to make space for other people. And the truth is that when other people tell us their flaws, we immediately love them even more. We get it. We go, oh my gosh, I understand. I have parts of me that are self-destructive. I love you anyway, right? And by the way, this is where I say, like, love is not something that's earned. It's just given. It's just a gift. Another Nashville person shared that with me in that way, which is Donald Miller. He writes about it in his book, Scary Close. And he usually writes about business. And then he also has some beautiful writing novels that he's written, but he writes about his own journey with learning to love himself and letting his wife in. And he goes, and I realized love is not earned. It's not like, well, I like this one of your qualities, but I don't like this one of your qualities. Love was just a gift. How did you learn to do that so that you could then take on, these tools that were helpful? And then we'll talk about what those tools were.
That really is the starting point of, I didn't really believe in my own worthiness to receive that love just because I was me. I thought I had to be someone else, or I had to achieve something, or I had to perform in a certain way. And so the first thing was me becoming just aware of that thought. Like, oh, this is what I'm choosing to believe, that just me being a human being on the planet is not enough to receive love. The second thing is that I had to let it begin with me. If I really expected to give love, receive love, show love, I had to really start to love myself, and I had to start taking stock of the ways. And these are just kind of the tools that I used. And for me, I'm very tactic driven. The way that I study, the way that I see things. And so it was very kind of step by step for me. I started to actually take a journal of like the thoughts that I started having. What are the thoughts that I'm thinking about myself on a day-to-day basis? What are the thoughts that I'm thinking about my family? What are the thoughts that I'm thinking about my business? Are they thoughts that are actually getting me more of what I want? Or are they thoughts that are actually keeping me in some kind of pattern or belief that isn't conducive to where I want to go? So, for example, a thought that I had was that in order to succeed, you had to suffer. And suffering is actually like this badge of honor, that if you're not suffering, then you're doing something wrong. You've got to pay to play. So that was a really interesting thought of like, oh, well, of course I'm self-sabotaging. And of course I'm hitting all these walls. And of course I'm spending more money than, spending money faster than I can make it, and then hiding it because I believe that this has to be a struggle. I believe that there has to be some kind of suffer in being worthy of that gift of love and that gift of abundance. So what could be maybe the opposite of that? That really helped me, of just kind of identifying certain thoughts about, and that, just using that as an example that I would have. And it's like, well, what if I chose to have a different thought? Like, what if it didn't have to be hard? What if it could be easy? And then what would that look like? Maybe I don't have this knee gut reaction to just go buy a lip gloss. Maybe I change the subject or meditate or call a friend or go for a walk instead. Things like that were really helpful for me. It feels very manual because it is, but it's important. And again, this goes back to that idea of connecting back to your body and to your emotional well-being, and to really understanding what you're thinking and feeling on a day-to-day basis. And for someone, if you're like me, who's just like, go, 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 I had to do it. I had no other choice at that point. I had to do that. And so it was just these moments. I would carry a journal with me, or even put them in the notes app of my phone. And I would just, oh, that's an interesting, okay, I'm thinking this. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Why is this situation a struggle? What am I thinking about it? Oh, I'm thinking that, I'm not enough, or people in my community don't value me, or why should I create this? No one's going to care anyway. This isn't going to be successful. So why do it? What are these old stories? And then from there, I was able to start to create some new ones.